X-Men 97, the cartoon on Disney Plus, found a big win, and that may have taken the wind out of the sails of Kevin Feige and the rest of leadership at Marvel. Why in the world would that be? Well, folks, what if we told you that it's sounding like the Walt Disney Company had a plan, a virtue signal plan for the X-Men, and all of that has been scrambled as fans have gone rogue and want their classic stories and heroes back. Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Pro Channel. It is a fun day because you've come our way. We're happy to see you. Yes, you. Folks, as we get ready to dive into today's content, consider clicking the like button. We're talking today about what it was that Marvel and the MCU wanted to do, how they saw themselves in terms of cultural change, and how all that has led to a deranged situation where nothing is working the way it was supposed to. All right, folks, here's the next story up on the docket. We're going to rock it. Here we go. It is the MCU. Kevin Feige is said to be annoyed by the success of X-Men 97. And this is from Cosmic Book News by the magnanimous and magnificent Matt McGloin. Here's what it says. It's claimed that head of Marvel, Kevin Feige, is said to be annoyed by the apparent success of the X-Men 97 animated series. The claim comes from Beau DeMayo, also known as Bonelyfans Man, via X, who Marvel fired prior to the show's premiere for alleged inappropriate behavior, which DeMayo has also claimed is not true. DeMayo has also alleged there is racism going on at Marvel and that various executives wanted to ruin the show. Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld has also fired shots at Feige over alleged behavior toward him at the Deadpool and Wolverine premiere, which that just keeps getting better and better and better. Here's what DeMayo had to say. The latest from Beau DeMayo is that he says he was told by a Marvel employee that Kevin Feige has found it annoying that fans compare X-Men 97 to the live-action X2 X-Men United movie released in 2003, which some fans consider the best of the films. And it was. It was, objectively. I mean, there's no opinion about it. It was the best. Kevin Feige happened to get his start on the Fox X-Men movies and was a co-producer on X-Men 2. DeMayo says Feige has nothing to do with X-Men 97. Says this, man, talk about never meet your heroes. I was informed by an employee at Marvel Studios that Kevin Feige's response to the success of the show and it being their highest rated project on Rotten Tomatoes was that he would prefer it if it wasn't being used as a referendum on the MCU's failures and his annoyance that people hold it up to X2. Kevin did not give 97 any of his attention. I met with him to pitch it and was hired and never got a note from him afterwards at all. And now he's annoyed it did well without me and the crew needing him. Sort of disgusting disrespect and ego. Explains why I had to pay for the wrap party for the crew out of my pocket because Marvel declined to honor the crew's hard work. Never meet your heroes. Now, gentlemen, Beau DeMayo is not the kind of guy that I'm going to take at face value. It's not that I want to be mean. It's that Beau DeMayo is unhappy with Marvel. And when you're unhappy with someone, sometimes you say things that are true, and sometimes you say things which are colored by your dislike and distrust of whoever you're describing. So Beau DeMayo has a beef with Kevin Feige. Fair enough. However, what's interesting is if there might be an annoyance with X-Men 97, if that is true, it makes me wonder, I wonder whether or not Marvel might be really annoyed with X-Men 97 because it went back to the characters in a classic way, told the classic stories, and largely stayed away from woke stuff, although sometimes it did start to dip its toes there. But I wonder if if it causes Marvel problems because they say, well, we wanted to do these characters this way, and darn it, we greenlit the show that suddenly fans remember and like because they like the classic characters the way they were, and they want more of them, and that's not what we want to do. Panel, what say you? Should we pay any attention to Beau DeMayo? Should we make anything of this? Or is this bluster and anger from someone who is tilted and shaded and jaded and tossed out of Marvel?
Well, I consider to be very interesting on this. Isn't Beau DeMayo currently threatening to sue the Walt Disney Company?
I believe he is suing. I believe he is suing Marvel, Jonas.
So I would think that he's fully aware and probably under legal advisement. Now, there are some people who are under legal advisement that still say stupid things. You know, having a lawyer does not mean you're perfect. So I think that he is probably not saying anything that he doesn't have a legal defense for.
When it comes to what he's saying about Feige, I think, lines up with a lot of things that people have been saying about Feige for a very long time, which is, that Feige does not like anything that he cannot take credit for. That's why Feige decanonized and tried to ignore the Netflix shows until he had no choice but to recanonize them because they were so popular, because those were Ike Perlmutter's shows and he had nothing to do with them. We've heard that Kevin Feige is a creature of this kind of ego for a very long time, and so I believe it. I mean, Beau has said a lot of things about what's going on in Marvel, and it's a lot of what everyone has always assumed is going on in Marvel. Like he said that there were female creatives on the X-Men 97 team that were giving him guff for failing, quote, the cause because he made a toxic male like Cyclops the leader of the team over Storm, a black female. So a lot of what he has said has kind of echoed what is kind of the going theories about what happens behind closed doors over in Feige Town.
It's also fascinating to me that he's since he's gay and black, that he also still gets guff, as you've put it.
Oh, I know.
Because on the intersectionality threshold, it just shows that is shifting around in a way that people can't anticipate. And when it comes down to it, the feminist issues are the ones that end up being the loudest ones.
And I think that's why it was an issue, is because Beau, when he wrote X-Men 97, he put the story first over the identity politics. And I think they were, hardcore feminists at Marvel who thought he was a traitor as a gay black man to make a straight white male like Cyclops the leader of the team.
And he didn't even make him that, really, when it comes down to it, which I think is kind of the point you're making here. They just kept him in the spot that he was, as people expected him to be. When obviously Storm is right there. And I think the Storm has been the leader of the X-Men at one time or another. I mean, everybody's been the leader of the X-Men at one time or another in the comics, but specifically Storm is fully capable of stepping into Professor Xavier's spot here. But everyone is expecting that Cyclops would be in that spot, and there's no reason to take him out of it. Why? Because Cyclops doesn't really want to be the leader, and it makes him a bit of a jerk sometimes. He's a great character to have a burden on his shoulders, whereas it's annoying if that person is sure of themselves all the time, as they would want Storm to be written in that case. Sorry, maybe that's a divergence here.
No, listen, I want an X-Men movie or show where Cyclops is cool. I've had it with him. Why does it's the same thing with the Turtles. Why does Leonardo always have to be, the killjoy? Why does Cyclops have to be that way? Give Scott Summers a time to shine. That's what I say.
I'm a big Cyclops fan, and that's actually why I liked X-Men 97 so much. I think Beau did a wonderful job with Cyclops. Okay. I think he put the respect on him that he deserved.
I just want to say this, and maybe it's maybe this is a me thing, and I put the link to the information in the chat in the background here, but Beau was not just responsible for this, which was successful. He was also responsible for being part of Netflix before it got destroyed by the radical feminist agenda that came for it, and the terrible creator that was responsible for it, who he calls out. He is so dedicated to this material that whatever he's involved in, if it's not done the right way, he doesn't hold his tongue, which actually adds credibility to his statements about what's going on with X-Men 97. And despite, his questionable moral makeup because of his choices to flaunt his features, he does care deeply about not just, the source material for the Marvel series, but also for The Witcher, which he was a part of and left. And of course, there's a lot of cover stories saying, well, he left for these reasons, X, Y, and Z, trying to cast this guy down, except that everything he says and was critical of came to be true. Now, IGN is, of course, an IGN take on this, but there are many other articles out there, which this is the first one that popped up, that describe his problems with the fact that they were literally mocking the source material when they were making that show. So one of the reasons he was out of there was they were not doing well by The Witcher. So take that with whatever you will, but it adds to his credibility. He's going to call out things that aren't being done right or are being done right, and other people's motivations behind them.
And he had nothing to do with Assassin's Creed. Is that correct, Culture?
Not that I know of. And you know what?
Credibility is shot if you were associated with Assassin's Creed at this point.
He was able to do something with X-Men 97 that is so rare in Hollywood today because, he's a black gay man and he was able to introduce, he was able to have strong central female characters like Rogue and Storm without making their power be about their femininity. Without having to put in those ham-fisted messages. He just made a good X-Men show, and he let the characters speak for themselves. It was made with love, and that's what I always say about these things. When you pick up a property, years later, it has to be done with love, because when it's done with malice, people can tell, like The Witcher or like Velma or, things like that. It's the difference between that and like X-Men 97 or DuckTales.
Now we're at the point where people are beginning to doubt that Marvel can even make it long enough for the X-Men to arrive. I'm not talking about, will they keep making movies, but will people care? People are done.
Well, let me exactly. Thank you, Marvin. You beat me to it. And the reason is I'm looking forward to the complete lack of hype and buzz of Thunderbolts and the complete lack of hype and buzz for Fantastic Four and the complete lack of hype and buzz, believe it or not, for Doomsday.
Hey, let me ask you a question though, Culture. If the two movies before Fantastic Four had done well, do you think that would have propelled Fantastic Four? Do you think it's going to be a victim of Captain America: Brave New World and the underperformance of Thunderbolts?
Yeah, I think those two things are not going to help, but I think the fact that Pedro Pascal's in everything isn't going to help either, because he's a polarizing actor now. He wasn't before, but he's made himself one. And I think that that's not going to help. Plus, the characterization of the characters does not look right. The CGI in it, if that's what we're going to get at the end, is going to be so off-putting that I think word of mouth will crush it just on that alone. But there's other problems with this, including what's her name? Something Ball. I always forget her name.
Lucille.
No.
Jonas and I at the same time.
Terrible.
I know.
Nalabal, whatever. It's the replacement for the actual Silver Surfer.
Galabal.
Yeah. The replacement for the actual Silver Surfer. I think that's going to be off-putting because people have seen this story before that they're going to tell, sort of, kind of, maybe a little. And she was not popular at all. That one of the shortest runs in Marvel history was that particular character as the feminist Silver Surfer. So Disney Marvel is taking all of the worst ideas ever from Marvel, and that's what they're putting out now.
True that. All right, folks, that's where we'll wrap it for now. But just know that the success of Classic, not only with Beau DeMayo, but also with Marvel Rivals, likely putting the cultural shifters at the MCU in an uncomfortable position where now they know they have to shift back to you. The Hollyweirds don't understand how it is we do what we do, bringing you video after video every single day of the utmost highest excellence and quality. But folks, we do it because of you. We appreciate you. You are seen and heard here on the Pro Channel. Make your voices heard, folks, by doing one last thing before we say goodbye for a short time. Consider clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, and you know what? That notification bell, click it and stick it to the algorithms. Also, drop a comment down below and let us know your thoughts. And don't forget, folks, we've got even more content on the way. If you'd like to become a member, it's just the price of a soda per month, and you'll gain access to all kinds of exclusive content beyond what the public sees, including archival footage of the Pro Show that goes away after just a few days from its public release. Folks, we hope we get the honor of spending time with you again soon, and until then, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.